What is welding? Welding refers to the joint or fusion of parts by using heat to make the part form a continuum. The heat source in the welding is usually an arc flame produced by electrifying the welding power source. What is important of the welding in the industry? The great contribution is given to the union of metal is secondary use in repairs of parts, elements, or even machines, which are used in the daily operation, modification of the parts and assembly of metal structure, waste reduction, and even reuse these are several types of the welding is with their own specific characteristics and use. Type of welding. Mentioned below are some of the most common types of welding. Number 1. Electric arc welding. This type of welding is done by creating an electric arc between an electrode and the base metal. The heat generated by the arc metals the metal and the electrode is used to provide welding material. The different types of electric arc welding include cut, electrode welding, SMAW, TIG welding, GTAW, and MEU welding. Gas welding. This type of welding uses a gas flame to melt metal. Different types of gas welding include oxyethylene welding, MAP welding, and TIG welding. Resisting welding. This type of welding uses electric resisting to generate heat and melt metal. It is mainly used in the automobile and electric industry. Laser welding. This type of welding uses a laser beam to melt metal. It is mainly used in the manufacture of electronic components and in the aerospace industry. Ultrasonic welding. This type of welding uses high-frequency sound waves to join two pieces of metal together. Chemical welding, also known as structural bonding, is a process in which materials are going to use special adhesives instead of conventional welding, unlike fusion welding, which requires heat to melt the base material. Chemical welding uses chemicals to join the surface of material. Classification of electric arc welding. The different types of arc welding are classified based on the type of electrode used and the type of arc protection. Here are some of the most common types of arc welding. Shallow metal arc welding, SMAW or stick welding, commonly used for welding carbon steel, stainless steel, cast iron, and nickel alloys. Submerged arc welding, SAW, commonly used for welding carbon steel, stainless steel, steel alloys, and some aluminum alloys. Gas tungsten arc welding, GTAW or TAG, commonly used for welding size steel, aluminum alloys, titanium, and nickel alloys. Gas metal arc welding, GMAW, commonly used for welding carbon steel, stainless steel, steel alloys, and some aluminum alloys. Plasma arc welding, PAW, commonly used for welding stainless steel, aluminum alloy, titanium, and nickel alloy. Gas tungsten arc welding with consumable electrode (GTAW), commonly used for welding stainless steel, aluminous alloys, titanium, and nickel alloys. Pulse arc welding (PIG or PTIG), commonly used for
Among advantages of explosion welding are union of dissimilar metal. I can join metal with different coefficients of thermal expansion, crystalline structure, and chemical composition. High resistance. Explosion welding produces a solid union with high mechanical resistance. Absence of heat. Direct heat is not required, which minimizes distortion and alteration of material properties. However, explosion welding presents some important limitations and considerations, and requires special equipment and experience. The explosion welding process requires controlled explosion and adequate equipment as well as trained personnel. It requires proper preparation of surface. The surface of the parts to be joined must be clean and free of oxide, pollutants, and layers of oxide to achieve a successful union. Sizes and shape of the pieces. The size and shape of the parts to be joined can limit the applicability of explosion welding. In summary, explosion welding is a metal bending process that uses energy generated by a controlled explosion to achieve a solid union between metal surfaces. It is suitable for joining dissimilar metal and offers advantages such as high resistance and advance of direct heat. However, it requires special equipment and experience, as well as acquired preparation. Explosion welding is known as explosion explosive welding is a metal bending process in which the energy generated by a controlled explosion is used to join two metal pieces. Unlike other welding methods, such as arc welding or resistance welding, explosion welding does not require direct heat and fusion of material to achieve union. The explosion welding process implies placing two metal pieces, usually of different materials, in direct contact. Among the union surface and explosive in placed shock and TNT or RDX. By detonating, they explode a high energy shock wave to create an extremely fast impact force between the two metal surfaces generated. This impact force causes the plastic deformation of the material and the formation of the metallurgical interface between them, resulting in a solid and resistant union. Explosion welding is capable of joining metal that would otherwise be difficult to weld due to their difference in physical and chemical properties. Explosion welding is used in a wide range of applications such as aerospace industry, naval construction, pipe manufacturing, and industrial equipment production. It is used to join dissimilar metals such as steel and aluminum, stainless steel and titanium, copper and aluminum, among others.